Yep, I'm flying through the air. This is not good.
Taking that crown from you. So let me break it on down for you. Taking that crown from you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the All Out Motorsports YouTube channel. I'm your host Alex Bowman, and today we are working on the iRacing rig. So there's a couple upgrades I've been wanting to make, mainly adding a sequential shifter, and I've been kind of looking into them, and they're way more expensive than I really want to pay to buy one. So I'm going to kind of DIY one and see how it turns out. The reason I've been wanting this is more and more cars are going towards the like floor mounted sequential, like bang through the gears shifter, and I want to be able to have that, like the more realistic the better for me. I have paddle shifters on my steering wheel, but I want the like bang through the gears on the floor mounted gearbox, because that's what cars are going towards, especially with the next gen cup car coming out and it having that. That's one of the biggest things I race, so I want that to be accurate. And then the Mazda MX-5 has that as well now. That's a newer thing they just updated. Went from an H pattern to a floor mounted sequential. So I just really want to get a sequential mounted on my rig to use. So we're gonna figure out how to DIY one, and this would kind of give you guys a little bit of a look into my creative process and how my crazy mind works. 'Cause it's like this weird mix of like redneck engineering and like actual engineering, and like having grown up with my dad owning a construction company and all of that kind of stuff. So you guys will kind of get to see a bit of that crazy process. So to start off, so I'll bring you over here to the rig actually to show you. Oh wow, light. Not enough light. There we go. Okay. So in the rig, I have this button box over here, and I've always had this this joystick mounted. So this button box just runs off of a Raspberry Pi. I don't know if you can probably see it in there. There's a Raspberry Pi board in there, and all the buttons are wired to that. And for a long time, I had this joystick mounted right here coming through this hole. And before I had VR, I used that to, I could click it side to side to look side to side, so I could see what was around me. And then once I got VR and started racing things like rallycross and needed a handbrake, I transitioned to also using it to pull back and handbrake. That wasn't great because it's just an on-off. There's no like progression to it or anything. And then last Christmas, I got a handbrake. So you can see that here. I've got handbrake here, and then like my H pattern, obviously. And so this joystick hasn't been used at all. So I'm going to use that for the sequential, because you don't need like a progression like you do a handbrake. You literally just need a button on-off. So I think this will be perfect for DIYing a sequential. So looking for where to mount it, I'm looking obviously somewhere over here. There's not a ton of room, obviously. I've already kind of done some looking, and I think like right about here will probably be the best. Just because there's nowhere really to mount it down there. I could do it like there. So like either there or up here are kind of my two options. So I also have so this twists off. So I want this to be longer because obviously I've done a little bit of playing around with it, and having it down here, it's too far away. Having it up here, it's just like too close to everything else. So what I have is I have this piece of tubing here, and what I'm thinking is just kind of taking this and it fits almost perfectly on over that, and then just using like JB Weld or something like that to secure it on there, and then that gives me more room to either mount it down or up and put a little bend to the tube. Obviously gonna cut it because that's way too long. But yeah, I'm gonna do some quick figuring out and I'll check back in with you. Okay, so I think I got placement figured out. So what I'm thinking right now is having it down here, and then you can see I already cut this some. I'm gonna cut it a little bit more, but I have to figure out where I want the bend. I'm thinking kind of a bend like right here to put it right about here, and then boom, boom. Yeah, we'll see though. I cut it in half, so if I mess up, I still have the other half. But yeah, it seems to be working out pretty well so far. Yeah, so the only issue, like that feels really nice. Probably have the height about there. That feels really nice, like the transition from wheel to that will be pretty easy. The only issue is right now it's hitting the rig, but it's going to be shorter and bent. So I'm going to go figure out where to bend it and how I want to bend it, and let you guys know. All right, I got it pretty well figured out. So I've got it bent and in a pretty good spot. Right now, this is a little bit loose, so I put some electrical tape under there just to keep it from flopping around for right now. The only issue is the joystick as a whole just rotates, so that might end up being an issue at some point. I'm not entirely sure. Might cause me to end up having to go back to like a shorter one where it's just straight and just down here, and I just have to reach down to do it. Which, like, I've got like a piece like this to use if that becomes the case. But we'll have to see if it works out. I like the bent look a lot better. Just gets it a little bit closer to me and where I want it to be and away from this stuff instead of so short. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know where it went, but I've got a bolt I'm gonna put down in here and like JB weld it in that I can screw this knob back onto, so it'll be kind of like that. And then at some point I'll probably take this off and JB weld that onto there as well once I'm happy with it. Yeah, so that's about what I've got, and I'll get it finished up and test it out and let you guys know what I think. Had to make some changes. Had to take the bend out of it because the bend was putting the weight from the ball like too far over, so when I would pull it back towards me it wouldn't return, and then when I pushed it forward it would return too far and then like down or upshift, so it would like go forward and then back as well when I let go. So I had to end up just doing straight up because the weight of that ball was too much. So now that it's straight up, I think we should be good. Yes, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna, I'll probably end up painting this as well, make it all black, and I think it'll look really good. To get the ball on there, basically I put a bolt down in there, like screwed that onto the bolt, put a bolt on there with some JB weld, and just JB welded it on there, and it's on there solid. Right now the shaft is just kind of slid down on there with nothing. Oh look, you can see that bolt. I'll probably do the same thing, just put like a little bit of JB weld right here on those threads and then just push this down over it, and it should be pretty solid. But I'm gonna wait on that until I'm 100% confident that it's where I want it to be, because once I do that, it's not coming back off. So I'm gonna leave it without the JB weld for as long as possible, but when it gets to a point where it gets too sloppy, I'll have to do that to firm it up some. Yeah, I'm not gonna paint or anything right now. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into iRacing and get it set up and test it out and see how it is. got the sequential shifter all perfect, pretty much. As you just saw, I was testing it out, and ended up being really, really nice. I did have to, I added on a little extension here, so you can see that, and then I also put on some rubber bands there, just because it wasn't clicking and having enough resistance and return and everything. It was kind of sticking sometimes, or returning too far. So I put some rubber bands on there just to give it some more tension, and it's perfect. It does exactly what I want it to do when I want it to do it, and I was able to figure out a perfect position for it, and it's right next to my H pattern, so like I already pretty much have that muscle memory down, and it was really easy to just get it switched over to doing that instead of here. So I'm super, super happy with how that turned out. So now, time to just do more racing and getting a better feel for it.
Alright, we are at Watkins Glen in the IR01 like fantasy car. And it's like a multi-class practice. And oh my gosh, this thing is so much faster than everything else, it's kind of insane. And I am using the new sequential to shift. So it's really putting it through its paces.
Front of you. Coming. Low and coming backwards.
I originally wasn't even going to record this because I was just a practice. But this is so much fun.
Clear. You know, you see it. Coming. Front of you.
Although it is starting to get dark right now, which isn't great. But I don't have headlights. There's only a couple minutes of practice left though. Ooh, that was risky.
Clear.
Yep, I'm flying through the air. This is not good. At least damage just turned off. Wow, that was... It's getting really hard to find my markers going to the bus stop though if it's getting dark.
You know, you see it. Coming. Up, one off court. Drive through it.
Clear, please.
In front of you. That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. 1 minute 18, 26. Got one off. Got in front of you.
Oh my gosh, this thing is fast. We're going to be over 200 by the end of this. Wow, we're going to get there. Oh, so close. So close to 200.
Drive through it. Slow cars in front of you.
This car is just absolutely insane. That's exactly what iRacing built it.
Clear. In front of you. Stay right. Coming. Slow in front of you. Stay right. 1, 2, 3. Blowing up in front of you. Keep an eye open. Keep going. Stay right.
Oh.
Keep going. Keep in the middle of the track, man. Going slow. Coming.
Maybe that was risky. Ooh. thought you were gonna come up off the corner faster than that.
Slow and coming backwards. In front of you. Keep moving. Right side. On it. Clear. Clear. There it goes.
Little over under.
In front of you. Check the front. Pull. Right on you. Hop out of there.
Wow, it's dark. Jeez, this thing is absolutely insane. You can't tell from where I'm able to bang through these gears. I really like this sequential. Alright, I'm not braking until I hit 200. Nope. Trying to give it up. Holy crap, that was fun. Huh. Wow.
Well, I'll have to call that DIY quite the success. Yeah, as you saw, I tested out the sequential with the IR01. I was planning on like cars like that using the paddle still because that's what they would use in real life. But I didn't feel like switching it, so I ended up using the sequential, and I figured it would be quite the test for it, and it was, and it passed with flying colors. I was able to bang through the gears super quickly, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I was planning on just testing it with like the Mazda MX-5, and then ended up in the IR01. You know, only a little bit of a difference. But no, I'm super happy because the Mazda wouldn't have given me that like quick down that I needed to test out. So yeah, super happy with how it turned out. Quick final look. I've got the ball epoxied onto there, and then I actually like put a nut in there and JB welded that in, and then just screwed it onto the top of here, and then rubber bands to give it a little bit more resistance. I'll have to figure out something a little bit more permanent at some point, but that'll be for down the road. I might just use these holes. There's one here and one on the front as well, and like take like a small spring to there or something. Don't know. I'll have to figure that out. And then also probably trim this right there because that hits my leg right now. So possibly trim that right there. And then of course paint it, make it look nice. But functionality wise, it is perfect. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. And Thanksgiving is tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm thankful for every single one of you that watch these videos and are subscribed. It's really cool getting to share what I do with everybody. So thank you guys. Very grateful for you. Happy Thanksgiving. Remember to like and subscribe. Make some comments down below. Next week, we'll probably get started on the mini bike. Not entirely sure, just depends what my schedule is like. But yeah, remember, pecker up, hammer down.